Number 42, Darius Conley. At guard, a 6'2" junior from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Number 12, Chris Prescott. At guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Willingboro, New Jersey. Number 22, Chris Burke. At guard, a 6'2" junior from Springfield Gardens, New York. Number 23, Blaze French. And at guard, a 5'9" freshman.
Welcome to the National MAC Game of the Week presented by Pepsi Max. It's the St. Peter's Peacocks against the Rider University Broncs from Alumni Gym in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And welcome everybody to what they call the Bronx Zoo. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy for this Garden State Showdown. And for a Rider team, happy to be home. They returned home this past weekend after playing 8 out of 9 games on the road.
And they were struggling in that stretch on the road. And sometimes, Doug, for a team that's really trying to find itself, nothing better than getting home and getting a win. And it was a blowout win in impressive fashion here.
Okay, let's take a look at our one-on-one brought to you by Blue Rock Energy. And, Coach, what is your theme for tonight?
Well, for St. Peter's, it's all about rebuilding. After getting to the NCAA tournament last year, graduating Wes Jenkins, Ryan Bacon, Nick Leon, and Dron Beelan. Who's going to step up? Well, it's been a freshman so far, and Lamine Fulton had a terrific game the last time these two teams played. And then on the other side, the senior, Brandon Penn, who has been playing terrific over the last 10 games. You see his numbers, including 25 with a career-high 7 threes in that blowout win against Canisius.
Here are tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Energize your day with Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It's double brewed and made the way you like it. French and Fulton in the backcourt along with Prescott, Burke, and Conley. And for the homestanding Rider Broncs, Mitchell, Thompson, Gadsden, Stewart, and Penn, who, as you mentioned, Rob, has been playing extremely well lately. Comes in on the year averaging nearly 13 points per game. Here's a look at the coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock. John Dunn in year number 6, the 1992 Ithaca College graduate. Led the Peacocks to last year's NCAA tournament, but an entirely different cast of characters this year. And he's matching wits tonight with Tommy Dempsey. Year number 7 is the head coach of the Broncs after serving as an assistant here at this school under Don Harnum, now the athletic director at Rider University. 50th meeting between these two Garden State rivals, with Rider holding a slim advantage. They've been conference rivals for the last 15 years, but the rivalry dates back many years before that. St. Peter's in its road blues. Rider wearing the gray with the cranberry trim. Crowd still filing in front of us, as is always part of the charm here at the Bronx Zoo, and we are underway. Eddie Mitchell at the point for the Broncs. In the backcourt with Jonathan Thompson. Penn's pass deflected out of bounds. Off the hand of Blaze French. And Rider will keep it.
And St. Peter's up in a man-to-man defense. And Chris Burke drawing the defensive assignment to try and contain the red-hot Brandon Penn.
Well, what makes Brandon Penn so difficult to guard, Rob?
Well, his three-point shooting ability with his size at 6'7", his ability to step guys away from the basket and shoot over top of the defenders is what really has separated his game.
Shot clock down to 6. Novar Gadsden on the low block. Tries to find the cutting Penn. Offensive foul against Gadsden. Here are the keys to the game brought to you by the American Red Cross.
Well, St. Peter's, much like a fighter who wants to clutch and grab and not allow guys to get away from him, that's what they've got to do. They've got to gunk it up, and then they've got to shorten runs. They get in these scoring droughts. They cannot let it be a prolonged drought to make it a big-time run. And for Rider, they've got to get out and gallop. They want to run and get some pace, and then they've got to make sure in this zone here that they're able to shade to the shooters. Prescott's a good three-point shooter, as well as the freshman we talked about, Lamine Fulton.
Now at this end of the floor, St. Peter's is last in the league in points scored per game at 60 per game. On the flip side, though, Rider allows the most points per game at 77 a contest. What do you expect when those two sides come together here, Rob?
Well, St. Peter's got to figure out a way to be able to score the basketball. They do not have a ton of firepower. When you go up and down their roster, they don't have guys who are going to be able to tag you for 20. They get Conley a touch inside early on. He's got to be able to convert at the rim to free things up on the perimeter.
Well, Prescott, who has the basketball now, off to French. Prescott is their leading scorer on the year at only 12.3 points per game. Here's Gadsden coming off a terrific game against Canisius, and he will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, 22 and 8 last time out. And Doug, when he's been good, they've been good. When you think about the expectations coming into this season, and Rider, a preseason pick to finish 4th in the league, those were because they expected Novar Gadsden to be a first-team All-League player. Hasn't happened. Coming off an injury and the off-season surgery with the microfracture, and he just has not been as explosive. Hasn't been the Novar Gadsden that we've seen the last couple of years attacking the rim for Tommy Dempsey.
Well, the number that really illustrates, I mean, the points are down, all the numbers are down, but rebounding is so far down for him, down to 3.1 per game, and in years past, he was more like a 5 or 6. So his rebounding production has been sliced in half, and we have seen, more often than not this year, he is a stationary jump shooter as opposed to being much more active.
And a lot of it, obviously, it's the injury, but it's also the mental part of getting past that injury. But if he can get himself playing, he's the X factor. If he plays like the Novar Gadsden we expected before the season, they can still be dangerous because they've got offensive firepower.
Prescott nearly turned the ball over. St. Peter's with another set, still looking for its first point of the night. French dribbles off his foot. Here is Penn. Or rather Daniel Stewart, who brings it back out to Mitchell. Stewart's pass taken away by Prescott.
Great weak side defense, and everybody dropping to the line of the basketball.
Prescott, way off the mark. Conley, and the ball will come off the rim.
Now that's where their offense has been all season long. They got to be able to convert inside. Conley's got to score the basketball. If not, that zone defense can just hang and shade to those shooters out on the perimeter, and then all of a sudden it becomes nearly impossible for St. Peter's to score.
Well, the good news for St. Peter's in the first 2.5 minutes, while they are last in the league in rebounding, they have been working the offensive glass.
Yep, and that's a key for them. They're last in the MAC in rebounding, Rider 9th, so neither one of these teams has been very good throughout the season on the backboards, although Rider was really good on the backboards, out-rebounded Canisius by 22 in that blowout win here on Sunday.
And that was a rare breather for this Rider club this year. It was the perfect game at the perfect time for the team coming home off of that extended road trip to be able to let some of the reserves play and not have a nail-biter, and most importantly, get a win. Conley, the junior from Newport News, Virginia, gets the Peacocks on the board. Foul called against Conley.
St. Peter's foul number 42, Darius Conley. That's his second personal, team's second of the half.
And you heard over the public address system here, that is personal foul number 2 on Conley. And certainly that's not a good thing for St. Peter's. He'll have to head out. And Marquise Tucker, and this is St. Peter's team having to do without Kyrie Ferguson, a 6'7" junior who tore his Achilles during practice last Thursday, and he's headed for surgery next week. And also reserve center Jack Hill, a 6'9" senior from Houston, out for the year with a shoulder injury. So a team that wasn't very big to begin with keeps getting smaller, Rob.
And a team that wasn't very deep to begin with either. And certainly that has hampered John Dunn in being able to get guys enough rest and get to a rotation he can really rely on.
Stewart off the mark. There he is on the offensive glass. Novar Gadsden.
And when he's active and he gets after it on the offensive glass, they've got other guys that can score it on the perimeter.
We said from the moment he got on this campus from his hometown of Philadelphia, he's got a Big East body. I mean, he's 6'7", 230, looks like he could step right onto the floor with the Big East boys and fit right in.
And early in his career, he had that Big East bounce as well, quick off his feet. That has been the biggest thing that suffered with the injury.
Charging violation, foul called against Stewart.
Offensive foul number 13.
The second charge that the St. Peter's Peacocks have picked up already. That is great defense. To get over for the weak side help, make sure that you establish yourself outside the arc to be able to pick up the charge. As we said, the second time St. Peter's has been able to draw a charge.
And so the reigning MAC Rookie of the Year takes a seat with 2 personal fouls. Jonathan Thompson going end to end. Gadsden gives it back to Thompson. Been in the lane for a while, and now he passes it away. Penn able to save it.
There's the length of Brandon Penn. Most other guys, that was going to be a backcourt violation.
Gadsden, wide open look.
Well, so far, he's the Novar Gadsden of old.
Couple of free throws, a putback, and a 3. He's got 7. In fact, he's got all 7 of Ryder's points. St. Peter's gets its first field goal thanks to Marquise Tucker.
Well, Tucker had a good game last time these two teams met as he had a double-double.
Penn missed badly on the jump hook. And then the foul is whistled against junior Fortunato. Novar Gadsden's been the story so far in the early going. First media timeout, it's 7-3 Ryder. In fact, it's 7-3 Gadsden.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying? 0! How much Pepsi taste? Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Welcome to the edge. For the glory of the Division I MAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA, the MAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, MacAchusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logo shirts and hats for your company. Make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
The Pepsi Max National MAC Game of the Week is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Blue Rock Energy. Blue Rock Energy saves you money on electricity and natural gas. Blue Rock Energy, putting people in power. The American Red Cross, encouraging you to do something that means something. Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAC. And by Dunkin' Donuts. What are you drinking? America runs on Dunkin'. Welcome back to the National MAC Game of the Week, presented by Pepsi Max. The 2012 MAC Basketball Championships head to the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, March 1st through the 5th. Purchase your tickets today by logging on to Massachusetts.com or Ticketmaster.com by calling 1-800-745-3000 or at the Mass Mutual Center box office. The 2012 MAC Basketball Championships on the edge of glory.
Well, so far, Doug, St. Peter's has taken one of my keys a little too literally. We said they needed to gunk it up. Well, 1 for 8, 0 for 3 is a little more than we needed so far here in the early going.
But again, the good news is they do have 4 of their own misses on the offensive rebound. Nice job to get the ball inside to Tucker.
That's the other thing they got to do, just kind of hang around. And sometimes, you know, Tommy Dempsey was talking about this yesterday. You feel like you're completely outplaying them. You look up at the scoreboard, and all of a sudden you're only up 2 or 4. It's the same thing happening so far.
Gadsden, nice look to Penn. He misfires. Kick to the corner, Tucker. In and out. Jeff Jones into the ball game. The Virginia transfer played 3 years with the Cavaliers.
Did not play in the last game as he was sitting out with the suspension.
Fortunate, terrific position inside.
Well, that's one of the things. He was not eligible early on in the season, and since he's come in, he's given him a little bit of another post presence that can score it inside.
Fortunat, 6'9", 220 freshman from Quebec. Missed the first 9 games of the year. Waiting for clearance from the NCAA.
That's one of the things as both a player and a coach that's maddening, that you're sitting there and waiting for that. You make a decision right off the bat because he was not cleared to play. Here's a freshman who needed minutes early on in the season for himself and for his team.
Jones with the shot clock going off the mark. Prescott off the back plate, and Ryder saves. Fans use the hashtag MacHoops when tweeting about your Mac basketball team. Hashtag MacHoops is the best way to get all the information on basketball happenings around the league.
Returning the game to the Bronx, number 5, John Thompson, replacing number 23, Novar Gadsden.
Ryder extends half-court pressure, try to get a trap right here.
Brandon Hall's come into the game for the first time for St. Peter's. The senior on the roster from Colonia, New Jersey. Another tough-looking shot for the Peacocks.
Now guarded, and Chris Prescott has not been able to find the mark.
Penn dribbling his way through traffic. Lavin Fulton grabs the rebound.
And as guys continue to rush out at Brandon Penn because he's shooting the ball so well, he's got to be able to have that counter. One dribble, get to space, and be able to finish. Did everything on that play except finish. Now when Brandon Hall ball fakes, no one's going anywhere. Brandon Hall's a guy that's in to run the team. He's not a guy that's going to score the basketball.
Shot clock down to 5. Prescott has to fire over Penn, and a rebounding foul. Yvonne Raymond off the St. Peter's bench picks up personal.
That's his first personal.
And with Conley on the bench with those 2 fouls, Doug, all of a sudden they don't get anything inside in the paint to collapse the zone. And so now every one of those outside shots is a guarded deep 3. Not a lot happening with their zone offense.
9-5, Ryder with the lead in the basketball. Novar Gadsden has 7 of the 9 Ryder points. Anthony Miles, they work it inside to Fortunat, and he has it taken away.
And again, good weak side rotation that time by Prescott.
He took a shot to the head on the shot, no call. And the struggles at that end continue for the Peacocks. Miles to the baseline, and a blocking foul called against Fortuna.
Rider foul 25, junior Fortuna.
11:30 remaining in the first half. John Dunn's Peacocks down 4 to Rider.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Dunkin' Ice.
Biggest iced coffee I can get.
Iced coffee helps me keep up. I love iced coffee.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
Dunkin'
iced coffee.
I run on Dunkin' Iced Coffee.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
College isn't something to do just because you think you should. It's a journey of discovery. A balance of learning, doing, and practicing, inspired by strong values. College is your chance to translate ambition into opportunity. Begin your journey of discovery. St. Peter's College, spc.edu. Come to campus or visit us online.
Hey, what are you drinking? I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Coffee. Black, straight up. Extra cream, 3 sugars.
French vanilla. Iced coffee for me. Iced coffee with a turbo shot.
I'm drinking Dunkin'. I'm drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
Welcome back to the Bronx Zoo. Rider with a 9-5 lead. ESPN has announced its selection for the MAC wildcard game. It'll be aired on ESPN 3. The February 15th contest will feature the first place Iona Gales and Tommy Dempsey's Rider Bronx. Iona certainly getting its fair share of coverage on the ESPN networks, and rightly so. They are a fun team to watch and share first place in the conference.
And one of the reasons why they're so fun to watch is the guy that orchestrates everything for them. Scott Machado, the national leader in assists at over 10 per game, and that matchup the 2 top scoring teams by far in the MAC.
Saw Daniel Stewart's photograph there. Unfortunately, tonight he is on the bench with 2 personal fouls, as is Darius Conley for St. Peter's. Well, the ugly numbers, Coach, for St. Peter's: 2 of 15 shooting, 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. That'll help the numbers.
Yeah, Fulton, the only number that's not ugly, they're down by 2 after all of that. So you start off 2 of 15, but because they're getting it done on the defensive end and forcing 6 Rider Bronx turnovers, they're able to hang in a ball game.
And other than Novar Gadsden, Rider has only 2 total points in the first 9 minutes. St. Peter's with a chance to tie. Yvonne Raymond looking for the shot, instead brings it back out to Prescott. Paul given plenty of room, as you mentioned, on the wing. Defers to Raymond, and traveling violation.
Possession to the Bronx.
Raymond seemed to have in his mind on that possession he was going to get into the lane and he was going to shoot.
And you can't predetermine what you're going to do. I mean, you got to react to what the defense gives you. You can't make up your mind and then just kind of put your head down and try to make it happen. See, double the field goal attempts here in the early going, because St. Peter's, prior to that turnover, had taken care of the basketball. Just 1 turnover to those 6 for Rider.
St. Peter's number 24, Marquise Tucker. That's his first personal.
Tucker picks up his first personal, number 4 against St. Peter's. He's a redshirt freshman from just down the road in Trenton. He went to Trenton Catholic. There's Darius Conley sitting with his 2 personals. 10:15 remaining first half. Gadsden back into the ball game. Nearly turning it over.
You can't leave your feet. Once you leave your feet, you haven't made up your mind what you're going to do, you're going to turn it over.
Thompson strong to the bucket. And a reach-in foul called against Hall before the contact. So there's no block charge decision to be made.
Good for number 5, John
See the
Thompson.
reach in right there by Hall as he got a piece of the hand. If not, this may have been the third charge. It would have been the third charge that St. Peter's picked up. Great defensive rotation, giving that help side support.
Instead, it's the first personal on Brandon Hall and the 15 foul against the Peacocks. Jeff Jones gets an easy two and a quick timeout called by St. Peter.
And the first time all night that we've seen Ryder get out and gallop. First time that they've been able to get out in transition. And John Dunn not happy.
Now, if that was the 15th foul on St. Peter's a moment ago, I'm curious about the free throw. Must have gone in. 13-7 our score. Ryder on top. The Mac now has apps for your iPhone and Android. The apps deliver instant updates, including Mac News, scores, standings, and videos straight to your mobile device. Visit macsports.com/mobile for more information. Everybody's got a mobile device in hand. You recognize people now by the tops of their heads, not by their faces.
Yep, everybody's down, texting, see what's going on, following the news. There's an app for everything.
I heard an acronym not long ago, FOMO. You know what FOMO is? F-O-M-O? Fear of missing out.
Oh, there you go.
Forever have your head buried in your phone, afraid of missing an email or a text message. Tommy Dempsey's club looking to even its MAC record at 500 with a win here tonight. They come in at 4-5, 7-14 overall. Keep in mind this Ryder team lost 10 of its first 11 games on the season. They've been trying to dig their way out of it ever since.
And the schedule is favorable for them coming down the stretch. They've got 6 out of the last 9 MAC games here at home. So if they can get themselves on a good roll, get Gadsden back, they still feel like that they can be a factor in the MAC.
Dira Endi Azuma just off the bench, making his presence felt. 15-7 Ryder.
And any offense you get out of him is a bonus. He's in there because of his rebounding and shot blocking ability.
He's a 6'10 junior from Nigeria. Strong move to the bucket that time by Raymond.
And Raymond, that's what he does. He's a guy that, when he brings some positive energy, can make a positive impact.
Miles hands to Gadsden. This is a Ryder team that won 23 games a year ago. Gadsden nearly turns it over. Miles is fouled in the act of shooting a three.
And I like the play by Jonathan Thompson to quickly reverse the basketball coming out from the one corner. And that's what Thompson does. He's a facilitator. Not necessarily going to score the basketball. 0 field goals each of their last 2 games. But Tommy Dempsey said, I never thought about taking his minutes away because he does all those other little things, including a play like that that's not going to show up as an assist, but it certainly helps his team and his teammates out.
And so Miles will shoot 3 free throws. It's been an interesting road for Jonathan Thompson so far this season, a junior from Orlando, Florida. Missed the first couple of games due to a suspension for an NCAA violation, and then he was asked to play the point, trying to replace all-conference point guard Justin Robinson, and that didn't really work out either. But as you said, he does enough good things, just not as a true point.
No, you're right. And again, because he's a facilitator, you can see why Tommy Dempsey wanted to try to see if he could put him at the point, give him some good size and that kind, but he's not a natural point. And when Eddie Mitchell has come in and has been more of a true point for Tommy Dempsey, their offense has flowed, especially with Mitchell and Thompson on the floor at the same time, so they get that quick ball reversal.
Miles makes the 3 foul shots and heads to the bench. Eddie Mitchell back in. The stoppage in play is to allow some fans to walk between the sideline and the first row of the bleachers. That's the hallway here right in front of us. And if you've ever been in this building, you know there's not a lot of elbow room.
And if they're going to stop it every time somebody walks in front of us, we'll be here for, well, we'll be out by midnight.
Fulton with the open look.
And that's a good wide open look because they were able to collapse the zone. You get the ball into the paint against the zone. Now on the kick out, it's an open three as opposed to a guarded three.
And he had struggled the last couple of games for St. Peter's, but has 5 points so far here tonight and draws the Peacocks back within 6. Jones right to the bucket.
Oh, nice aggressive play that time by Jeff Jones. Splitting the double team, putting it at the floor, and attacking the rim and not settling for jump shot.
He's a guy who has the reputation as a prolific jump shooter, but he, as most folks like that, traveling violation against Raymond, want to prove that they can also drive it to the bucket, which he can do also. Clement Fulton and the St. Peter's Peacocks trying to hang around on the road, down 8 to the Ryder Bronx.
Welcome to the Edge, for the glory of the Division I MAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA, the MAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
That's the worst half of football I've ever seen. Are you telling me we can't do this?
I got this, Coach. You know, people said, Pepsi Max? You can't get maximum Pepsi taste with 0 calories.
Who said that?
But Pepsi Max didn't listen.
We just delivered it. So get out there and taste that sweet 0-calorie victory.
The little guy's right.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Do you validate parking?
Last March, John Dunn led St. Peter's to its first NCAA tournament in 16 years by winning the 2011 MAC championship game. They defeated Iona in the finals in Bridgeport.
And it was the seniors that got it done for John Dunn. The upset win against Iona in the championship game to send them back to the NCAA tournament. Wesley Jenkins, Nick Leon, and Ryan Bacon, all 1,000-point scorers for the Peacocks. And then Jerron Beelan, the MVP of the MAC championship.
There you see Beelan and Bacon playing overseas. Nick Leon played in Puerto Rico professionally for a while, but last we saw he was back in Jersey City and on campus and working out, keeping in shape for his next opportunity. While Wesley Jenkins, who went through some severe injury trouble that nearly cost him his college career, has hung up his sneakers for good to preserve that name. But what marvelous careers for the 4 of them, and it's only to be expected that when you lose a senior class like that, you're going to have a drop-off. And for John Dunn, the club is 4-16 this year. You hope not to have that big of a fall, but you've got to be able to stack one recruiting class after another, and if you don't, you're going to have a drop-off.
And he thought they were going to have enough, talking to him, to be around 500 and hang in there. But not only did they lose those seniors, but not having Steven Samuels back, who was released and not with the program anymore, that really, I think, impacted what they were going to be able to do this season.
You know, you made your livelihood for a number of years as an assistant coach at the Division I level, and trying to determine and predict and rely on 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old young men can be tough sometimes.
That's why it is a tough profession.
Yvonne Raymond finishes the break. Back to a 4-point ball game.
Oh, great catch in traffic and then finish in traffic. And because of their defense and because they've been able to hang around and kind of gunk it up, St. Peter's has been able to keep Tommy Dempsey's team within sight. Now just down by 4.
And so the 2008 MAC Coach of the Year calls timeout to try and get the message across once again to his club.
So Rider working the paint. They've got an advantage, especially with Conley on the bench with those 2 fouls. So they've gotten after it on the offensive glass, as well as trying to establish some low post-ups and then driving strong to the basket to be able to finish things in. This is a smaller St. Peter's team. And as we said, without Conley, who's been sitting on the bench with that foul trouble, Rider's got the ability to try to pound it inside.
Saw Novar Gadsden on the bench. He's got 7 points to lead all scorers. They all came in the first 5 minutes. Rider playing the last several minutes without Daniel Stewart because of foul trouble, but he's back on the floor trying to avoid picking up a third. Mitchell with a terrific ball fake, dumps it off. Penn missed the layup, and Stewart on the putback has his first 2 points.
Well, they continue to get it done inside. So Stewart, after sitting down with the foul trouble, comes right back in and gets another opportunity to score it in the paint.
He's averaging nearly 7 rebounds per game. Preseason 3rd team all-conference. High post Raymond. Missed the leaner, and he's going to be whistled for the foul.
St. Peter's foul number 2, Yvonne Raymond. That's his 2nd personal, team 7th of the half.
7th team foul against the Peacocks, and number 2 on Raymond, who is met by his coach, John Dunn, at the bench.
And you see Tommy Dempsey, Doug, take that last time out, not only to get his point across and try to break a little bit of a run by St. Peter's, but as well to get Stewart back in the game. And why not? And first time he gets an offensive rebound on the offensive end and scores it, and then cleans things up on the defensive end with another rebound.
MAC fans, the MAC is on Facebook. Make sure to like the MAC today. The alley-oop. Burke with the dunk.
Well, terrific feed, and Burke went over top of everybody. A screen in against the back line of that zone defense. Somebody turned and lost sight of Burke.
Back to a 4-point ball game. Under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Stewart kicks to Thompson. 15 to shoot. Mitchell lost it on the way up. And here comes St. Peter's. French to Burke. Finds the trailing Tucker. And he looks like a bowling pin there. Offensive foul, or rather a bowling ball.
Yep.
With the Bronx looking like the pins.
Offensive foul number 24, Marquise Tucker. That's his 2nd personal, team's 8th of the half.
8th team foul against St. Peter's.
Number 10, Anthony
And that's
Miles.
where, as a guard, you got to know that Tucker's coming. He's out of control. Don't put him in that situation. You know, sometimes, yeah, he's the guy that picked up the turnover, but it's the guard that put him in that position that really made the bad decision.
Mitchell skips to Miles in the corner. Penn with a nifty shot, just barely caught iron. And Stewart will head to the free throw line.
St. Peter's foul number 23,
Blaise French.
That's his first personal.
Picks up his first personal. So another offensive rebound for Rider and another opportunity at the free throw line.
On the line for the Bronx, number 13, Daniel Stewart. Shooting.
Stewart is a product of the Newman Goretti High School program in Philadelphia. And he, his senior year, helped lead them to a 30-1 record and a Pennsylvania State Championship.
Yeah, one of the best high school programs in the country. And his brother, his younger brother, a member of the Newman Goretti team right now, Derek Stewart, who will as well be a member of the Rider Bronx next year. So they played together in high school a couple of years ago, and they'll be playing together in college. And that has been a theme here at Rider. You had the Mansell brothers, the Thompson brothers, and now you'll have the Stewart brothers.
There is Stewart with the rebound. Mitchell at his pocket pick. Fulton with a wild shot, but there for the easy cleanup, Chris Burke.
And Burke doing a good job of using his athleticism to help close the gap. Saw it on the alley-oop that time, running the floor, getting an easy second chance opportunity.
He's coming off a good game at Loyola the last time out. Burke went for 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting. He's got 4 so far here tonight. Thompson fouled from behind on the reach around by French.
And every time you reach around, whether you get a part of somebody or not, you're going to get that whistle.
My high school coach called it lazy man's defense. I did it a lot. We'll take a break from the Bronx Zoo. Ryder on top 5-4. Welcome back to Lawrenceville, New Jersey for our National MAC Game of the Week, presented by Pepsi Max. MAC.TV is the official broadband network of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. The portal includes live content from Canisius, Iona, Manhattan, Marist, Ryder, and St. Peters, plus MAC championship events. Visit MAC.TV/register to sign up now. Doug Sherman, Rob Kennedy, glad you could join us on a Thursday night for MAC basketball. Novar Gadsden got off to a fast start to this ball game, scoring 7 points in the early going, and that lead has been maintained. But he's been stuck on 7 for the past 12 minutes or so.
Yeah, the first 7 points of the game, got the first media timeout, and has not scored since.
There's Jonathan Thompson, the 6'4 junior from Orlando, Florida. His best game of the year came against Penn when he scored 17 points. That was back in November. But what most folks remember his season so far about, he had a slam dunk against Marist back in the first week of January that, for those who saw it, say it's as good a dunk as you're going to see at this level. Prescott fouled by Stewart, and that is number 3.
Also, bit of a gamble to get him back on the floor with the 2 fouls paid off initially, as Stewart was able to get involved at both ends of the floor on the backboards, but picked up his 3rd foul on the backdoor cut.
You would take that on a case-by-case basis every time, Rob, depending on who the player is and the circumstance, whether you play them with 2 fouls or not?
Yeah, and you have to establish what your philosophy is going to be. You know, some guys, like, the old John Thompson and as well as John Chaney, it didn't matter what the circumstance, situation, who it was, what the if you got 2 fouls, you were sitting down. But I believe that with guys, there are some guys that can play with 2 fouls and it not be a problem. Other guys that can't. So I like doing it on a case-by-case basis.
Eddie Sutton, the legendary coach, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, his theory was, well, you get 5 of them, don't you? He said, go out there and play. Yeah. Just play smart. Traveling violation. Simultaneous whistles from both of the front court
Jeff Jones.
officials. Easy one to call, and they turn it back over.
Replacing number 5, John Thompson.
Jones in, Thompson out. Fulton left alone from the foul line. Follows his own miss. Fulton from the corner. Strong rebound by Jones.
Yeah, good athleticism to go get that one.
Before the shot, Burke is called for the foul. And Penn will shoot 2.
And because of the way that Brandon Penn's been shooting the ball, especially from the outside, he's not going to get those wide open looks, especially against a good defensive team like St. Peter's. So he's got to be able to adjust. That's one of the things that Tommy Dempsey was talking about. With his size, Doug, he can go take guys into the post, as he did on that possession.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. We also have a segment on the NCAA Rowing Championships coming up here in New Jersey later this spring. And, of course, our first half highlights and statistics. Prescott's right heel was on the sideline, so another St. Peter's turnover. Well, a big final 2 minutes of this first half. John Dunn's club has done a nice job, as you say, mucking it up.
Yeah, gunking it up, whatever. Clutch and grab, whatever you got to do. They've been able to keep it at that type of pace, but they got to finish it off.
Penn has it taken away. Prescott had his shot pinned against the glass, and here comes Mitchell. Euro step for 2.
Nice job to avoid the defender and finish at the rim.
The lead is 8. Fulton can't get it to go.
And back-to-back possessions for St. Peter's of a quick shot. That's not the pace they need to be playing at.
Miles. That's a big answer.
And that's why you miss a couple of quick shots at the one end, and all of a sudden, here comes a run, and that's how Rider plays. They play in runs. So here's a quick shot. Great defense right there to come across by Fortuna. There's that nice Euro step, and able to finish at the rim is Eddie Mitchell. Another quick shot at the other end allows them to come back in transition. You hit a 3. You go from a 6-point lead or 6-point deficit to an 11-point just like that.
You saw the frustration on John Dunn's face. He goes from last year having a team with seniors with a very high basketball IQ to a work in progress again this year.
And last year he wouldn't have had to say anything. They would have pulled the basketball back out, whether it was Nick Leon or whether it was Wesley Jenkins. They knew not only who they were, how they wanted to play, and they also had time and score situation. It's a little bit different with this younger team.
So what was a 4-point game just a couple of minutes ago is ballooned to 11 with just over a minute to go in the half. And the Peacocks turn it over again. Penn from deep. Not the shot Rider was looking for there.
But they'll take a shot from Penn the way he's shooting it.
Prescott.
So that's fine, only if it goes in. Because it's a good shot, but it's not who St. Peter's is. They don't have that kind of offensive firepower. They can't play in the 70s and 80s. They just don't have enough guys that can score the basketball.
They average just a touch over 60 points per game. .12 to shoot.
Boy, Brandon Hall is a tough defender.
Nice step in by Burke.
But that play started with Brandon Hall. His physical presence to be able to fight through that screen and body up allowed the turnover.
Final 5 seconds of the first half. Mitchell down the lane, and a blocking foul whistled against Fulton.
Now the two Philadelphia freshman guards going head-to-head. Mitchell, a guy that always wants to put his head down and try and get to the rim. Not a great outside shooter, but he's real good at getting himself into the lane. Here's that good, solid defense by Hall, which allows Burke to go shoot the gap, come up with the steal and dunk.
Entering the game for the Bronx, number 21, Dara Ndiazuma.
Ndiazuma in.
Replacing number 25,
Fortunat. You mentioned Eddie Mitchell, one of the Philadelphia guys in this game. He's out of LaSalle High School. And we, for those who don't know, Rider University not that far outside of Philadelphia, right here in the heart of New Jersey. So it's fertile recruiting ground, as it's been for Tommy Dempsey and his predecessors. Brandon Hall's key comes up short.
Rider University 35.
And 20 minutes are in the books. Rider on top by 11.
Well, the Rider Bronx with the little spurt there. It was Novar Gasson to start the half. And that spurt right here in the last couple of minutes gets it out to the double-digit lead.
Our score at halftime, Rider 35, St. Peter's 24. We'll be back to Lawrenceville, New Jersey with the MAC halftime report right after this.
Okay, so now we have a special halftime treat for you. Joining us here at Alumni Gym are the Robbinsville Ravens 7th grade basketball team, who will be playing a 5-minute minigame for bragging rights in the Bronx Zoo. Tonight's rosters for the red team: number 5, Ben Hutchison; number 7, Bobby Stewart; number 9, Chad Landau; number 3, Johnny Rouse; number 33, Tyler Milston. The coach of the red team is Steve Morales. The gray team: number 1, Mike Consiglio; number 22, Derek Taylor; number 23, Danny Palmer; number 24, Matt Griffin; number 28, Colin Riley. And the coach of the gray team is Joe Riley. Red basket by number 9, Chad Landau. The score is 2-0. Red team lead with 4 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in tonight's contest. Basket by number 5, Ben Hutchison. Score is 4-0 red team.
Welcome back to the Bronx Zoo. We are at halftime between St. Peter's and Rider University. The MAC Tennis Championships head to Mercer County Park in West Windsor, New Jersey from April 28th to the 29th, coming up in just 3 months from now. And now let's take a look at the MAC standings in terms of men's basketball. And we see that there is a 3-way tie for first place after Iona was upset earlier this week by Siena. So the Saints, Niagara, and Rider in a 3-way tie for 5th place with just a little over a month remaining in the regular season. And now let's take a look at tomorrow's 4 games on the schedule, highlighted by the Iona-Fairfield game at 7 o'clock, which you can see on ESPNU. The other games tomorrow night: Loyola Niagara, Marist at Siena, and Manhattan at Canisius on what will be a busy Friday night around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. The Player of the Week and the Rookie of the Week: Scott Machado for the Iona Gales. He continues to lead the nation in assists per game at 10.6 per game. Meanwhile, the Rookie of the Week, Antoine Mason, second time this year that Mason has taken the top rookie award, and he is in the midst of a terrific redshirt freshman season for the Purple Eagles. And here's a look at the upcoming MAC broadcast schedule, including 2 games tomorrow. A women's game, Fairfield home against Manhattan in Bridgeport, can be seen at 4 o'clock on ESPN3, and there again is the big game of the night. 7 o'clock on the U, Iona against Fairfield, the other ESPNU game on the schedule. The following Friday, we'll be down in Baltimore as Loyola hosts the same Rider Broncs. We'll take a break and come back with more of our halftime report here in Lawrenceville, New Jersey.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying?
0!
How much Pepsi taste?
A lot!
Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Your dream college should have it all, promising not just a degree, but an inspired direction for life's journey. An intimate college with a global alumni network, a residential campus experience, a subway ride from the capital of culture and opportunity, where you can pursue your dreams and change the world. Manhattan College has been delivering on this dream for over 150 years. Go to manhattan.edu and discover what a LaSallian Catholic college education can promise your future. Manhattan College, dreams delivered.
When every moment matters and a hand reaches out. When someone gives blood and a life is saved. That moment when heartbreak turns to hope. You're there through the American Red Cross. Every day, the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies. And your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.
I am very much a mama's boy. I love her to death. And it was just, it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to miss home a little bit. My life's goal has always been to be a surgeon. I found out that Niagara has a great science department, so I was like, hey, I like this. I went a school that's a little bit more hands-on experience, one-on-one with the teachers, because I think you learn better that way. I do want to do research, especially on cancer. My mom had it, so it's just something I'm definitely very passionate about. I only applied at Niagara because I knew this was the place I needed to go.
Welcome back to halftime here at Rider University. It's the Rider Broncs against St. Peter's, and we're here at the half, and I'm joined now by Kevin Bannon, the Executive Director of the Parks and Recreation for the Mercer County. And Kevin, longtime basketball coach. Good to see you back here in Alumni Gymnasium. Longtime head coach here as well as at Rutgers University. Good to have you back.
Thank you, Rob. It's great to be back.
And now a little different. We go from your basketball coaching hat. Let's talk a little rowing as Rider in the MAC, and obviously the Mercer County as well, serving host for the 2012 NCAA Rowing Championships. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're thrilled. In the Park Commission, we have a lot of terrific facilities. We host a lot of big events and festivals and things like that. But what I'm really excited about is when we partner with the MAC and with Rider. Got a long-time relationship, 30 years with Rich Enzer, 20 years with Don Harnum at Rider. So when we pull our staffs together, there's like nothing we can't accomplish. We do the MAC championships, we host the baseball tournament, we host tennis and rowing. And now we're partnering on a national event, which is we'll have 800 rowers coming from all over the country for the national championships. And we're thrilled to roll out the red carpet and welcome them to Mercer County.
And for those that don't know about it, it's the best rowing facility probably in the country. Not only hosting the NCAA tournament, but the men's and women's Olympic teams as well, training here on Lake Mercer.
Yeah, that's just an awesome feather in our cap. We're very, very proud in Mercer County to have the Olympic teams on Lake Mercer. And we do have, one of the premier places in the country. We have tons of regattas. But when you can do, this one's really special because it's a national championship. And like I said, you'll have 800 plus athletes, every school from every corner of the country will be represented, and we're excited. You know, we have Joe Piscopo coming out and do his shtick.
And who wouldn't be excited about that, right? A Jersey guy.
We have we're going to have a really nice banquet and a kind of a fun Jersey theme to the banquet, and he's going to do his whole thing for the girls, and it's just going to be a great event. Like I said, there's a lot to it. We're working awfully hard, but we're going to have those hotels and restaurants filled, and we're going to show them a good Jersey time.
And so now you're going from hoops guy to a crew guy, because not only hosting the event, but your son Tommy, I know, is rowing up at Fordham.
I'm not going to try to tell you I know a lot about crew and rowing. But
first one across the line, right?
Yeah, and my son didn't do it in high school, but he's absolutely loving doing it at Fordham. He's 5:30 in the morning on the Harlem River. Mom and Dad never imagined that in a million years, but so all of a sudden, rowing is a big part of my life. You never know where life's going to take you.
No, absolutely not. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
And again, to remind our viewers, Rider University and the MAC will partner up to host the 2012 NCAA Rowing Championships at Lake Mercer in West Windsor, New Jersey from May 25th through the 27th. For more information, visit ncaa.com/sports/rowing. We'll be back with more here at halftime from Lawrenceville right after this.
I'm Sienna.
Hi, I'm Sienna.
I am Sienna.
I am Sienna.
I am Sienna.
Sienna College offers an exceptional private education with a unique foundation of liberal arts, career preparation, and Franciscan values.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logo shirts and hats for your company, make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
Canisius College is committed to academic and athletic excellence. The Jesuit tradition prepares students for a lifetime of service. From the classroom to hands-on experience, Canisius students are ready to succeed. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with a focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Tickets to the game are free for kids 18 and under.
Welcome back. It's halftime. Rider with an 11-point lead over St. Peter's here in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And welcome back, everybody, to the Bronx Zoo. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy. This 11-point lead, the largest of the night for Rider. The Bronx never trailed. They got a little bit of basketball from Novar Gadsden early, and that helped to make a difference.
Well, he was energized early on as we saw a little bounce from Novar Gadsden. Got those quick 7 points, and then they were able to keep them under control.
Let's take a look at our first half highlights as Rider jumped out early and able to keep St. Peter's at bay.
And as we said, it was early energy from Novar Gadsden right here on the offensive glass to be able to clean things up. And when he's able to do that, stretch defenses out, that's the Novar Gadsden that everybody expected coming into the season. Jeff Jones, the one-year senior transfer, getting himself into the lane. They really did a good job of converting points in the paint. They did not get out in transition very often, but here's one of the few times that they were able to get out and gallop. On the other side, well, not much happening offensively for the Peacocks, with the exception of a couple of nice thunderous dunks over top by Chris Burke. Here's one of the 11 first-half turnovers from Rider that turned into a dunk at the other end with the athleticism of Burke.
And the first half stats brought to you by Geico. St. Peter's has taken 10 more shots than Ryder, 33-23.
And you see Ryder has been able to get to the foul line. The other thing, Doug, too many three-point shots for St. Peter's. 1 of 10 from beyond the three-point line. One of the big reasons, Darius Connolly, their big guy inside, played only 3 minutes because of 2 quick fouls. That all of a sudden made their team on the offensive end a bit of a donut.
Novar Gadsden leads all scorers at the break with 7 points. When we come back, the start of the second half, see if Gadsden and the Bronx can hang on to beat St. Peter's here in the Bronx Zoo. Welcome back to the National MAC Game of the Week presented by Pepsi Max. We are at Alumni Gymnasium in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, just outside of Trenton. And our score, Ryder 35, St. Peter's 24. Just coming out of that break, Rob, you and I were talking about the game earlier this week where first place Iona went to Albany, opened up a 20-2 lead on Siena, yet the Saints, the little engine that could, came back to knock them off.
The little engine that could with just 6 guys. Yeah. And again, you're down 20-2, and everybody in the stands must be like, oh, here's this vaunted Iona offensive attack that we've heard of. The Gales going into that game averaging over 83 points per game. All of a sudden, Siena, what did they? They gunked it up, and they got the game down to their pace. That's the same formula that St. Peter's got to use here. They can't get in a game that goes up and down.
And there's our one-on-one update. Fulton struggling from the floor. Same story for Penn, who had been playing so well coming into the ball game tonight.
And now he's got guys running at him all the time. Every time he catches the basketball, somebody's hanging around him, especially out at the three-point line.
And we should mention that Penn has only 2 points. The 7 points is for Gadsden. So Penn has 2 free throws made. And 0 for 6 from the floor. Fortunat with the easy bucket for Ryder to get the second half underway, and then the big rebound.
And another quick shot from Chris Prescott. You got to play to who you are. Right now, St. Peter's, they do not have the offensive firepower to run up and down the floor with Ryder.
Once again, Fortunat inside. Timeout, St. Peter's.
And you can guarantee that John Dunn's going to talk about play into their game plan. Slow this thing down and give yourself a chance.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Dunkin' Iced.
The biggest iced coffee I can get.
Iced coffee helps me keep up.
I love iced coffee.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
Dunkin'
iced coffee.
I run on Dunkin' Iced Coffee.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying?
0!
How much Pepsi taste? A lot! Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Hey, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Dunkin'. Coffee. Black, straight up. Extra cream, 3 sugars.
French vanilla. Iced coffee for me. Iced coffee with a turbo shot.
I'm drinking Dunkin'. I'm drinking Dunkin'.
I'm drinking Dunkin'.
Drinking Dunkin'.
America runs on Dunkin' Coffee.
They call it the Bronx Zoo, the home of the Ryder Bronx here in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And the Bronx with a 15-point lead. They've extended it from 11 at halftime. And the shooting troubles for St. Peter's continue. Chris Prescott, who comes into the ball game averaging a team best 12.3 points per game, Rob, 0 for 9, including 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Ryder continues to extend that lead.
And 0 for 6 from beyond the three-point line, and a lot of those quick shots. And again, that's the quick timeout by John Dunn to say, look, we're going to get ourselves back into the ballgame. We can't get them all in a couple of possessions. We got to chip away, and we got to stay to our game plan.
Fulton misses the floater. Ryder basketball. Before that break, Rob, we revisited our Blue Rock Energy one-on-one. And Penn, as we saw, still without a field goal. What does Ryder need to do at this end to get Penn more involved?
Well, he's going to get all kinds of defensive attention. So last time he did and draws the defense out, he dumped it inside to Fortunato. So you can play through your best player and create some opportunities for the rest of your teammates and not force shots.
Gadsden's pass deflected out of bounds. Tommy Dempsey's club will keep it and have 17 seconds with which to work. Burke got a piece of the pass. 10 to shoot. Penn still without a field goal. Gadsden from 21. Banked it. So far, we won't use this game for any shooting videos. Fulton comes up short.
And now that Connolly's back in the game for St. Peter's, they got to get him some touches inside. If they do and play inside out, now all of a sudden, instead of Fulton taking a three with a guy in his face, it's an open
St.
three.
Peter's foul number 32, Lynn Fulton. That's his third personal.
Fulton called for his third. And so he will go out. You see Yvonne Raymond back in as Gadsden heads to the line to try and complete a three-point play. Gadsden scored 7 quick points in this ball game. He's the first now to double figures with 10. Raymond able to get it home.
Snuck it by. Well, he turned, faced up. All of a sudden, the defense was off him and nearly missed that dunk. Got a lot of rim on that dunk.
Gadsden, terrific look to Penn.
Right off the bounce, right off the dribble. The only way that gets through, Doug, is with the bounce pass, and he put it right on the money for the first field goal for Brandon Penn. That's a good example of Novar Gadsden's skill set. Post you up, can take you out to three, can handle the basketball.
Prescott gets his first field goal of the night. So each team's respective leading scorers each get their first field goals within the last minute. The matchup here with Yvonne Raymond trying to stick with Novar Gadsden. He's given up, what, 4 inches?
Yep.
Quite a bit of size.
And strength as well. So if they can get a post up to Gadsden, he should be able to take advantage of it.
Raymond won't back down, certainly, though. Here's that matchup. Seven seconds to shoot. Penn, tough shot from behind the backboard.
And one of the first times we've really seen him force a shot.
Raymond right to the rim.
Second time the sea has parted and allowed Raymond to get right to the front of the rim.
That's 8 points for the 6'3" junior from Maplewood, New Jersey. Thompson spins, hangs, and has his shot roll off the rim. Nice look. Connolly for 2.
Great feed by French, being aggressive. And just like that, Ryder's gotten them, or excuse me, St. Peter's has gotten the lead back down to 11.
And that's 3 layups now for St. Peter's on this 7-0 run.
And when you're a team that struggles offensively, you can't find better shots than right at the front of the rim.
Well, sometimes it's a layup that gets the game going. A free throw, a layup. Penn now knocks down the 3.
Now stretches it back out, too.
French, another layup for St. Peter's. This one rimmed out.
Official.
And our first media timeout of the second half. Riders' lead was 18. St. Peter's trying to hang around. Back to Lawrenceville, New Jersey right after this.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with a focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Everyone here at Iona College has a great spirit of enthusiasm as students start to see our facilities and speak to our faculty. They realize this college gives our students a great opportunity to learn more about themselves and go on to fantastic careers in whatever field they choose.
The first thing that strikes you when you arrive at campus is the beautiful buildings and grounds. But above all, Iona focuses on students and student success. And Iona is an institution that changes lives.
Welcome to the Edge, the glory of the Division I MAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA, the MAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
Back in the Bronx Zoo, the Bronx lead is 14 over the Peacocks. High school juniors check out all 10 MAC schools at the 2012 MAC College Fair on Friday, March 2nd at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Join us for a guest speaker at 9:30 a.m. with the College Fair to follow in the MAC Fan Fest. For more information, log on to Massachusetts.com. That's MAACACHUSETTS.com. As the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference makes its first foray into the Bay State. A lot of discussion over the last couple of years about neutrality for that MAC championship, and more often than not over the last 20 years, the tournament has been held in Albany. It's also been held down here in Trenton, out in Buffalo, and Bridgeport, Connecticut. But the league presidents, along with Commissioner Rich Enser, came together and made the decision to go to Springfield, Mass for 3 years, and that begins this year. Anthony Miles with the bucket.
And certainly the fact that Siena was on a terrific run as a program had something to do with that, as they were able to win 3 consecutive MAC championships in their own building. But it wouldn't matter where those games were played at times, you know, because they were the dominant team in the league during that run. But it'll be interesting, and especially with the inclusion and the support from the Hall of Fame, it'll make for an interesting weekend.
Well, John Dunn's club will go in as the defending MAC tournament champion, but certainly will not go in as the favorite, coming in right now having won only 3 conference games during the regular year. Glad to see Yvonne Raymond is okay. He went into the bench area very awkwardly.
Went down hard.
Well, here are the MAC standings coming into the night. You see a 3-way tie now that Iona has lost that game to Siena earlier this week to drop to 7-2.
Well, surprising, Iona. A lot of people thought was going to run away and hide, especially when Fairfield had their struggles early. But you see everything bunched up at the top, and certainly their game coming up against Fairfield could even bunch things up further.
St. Peter's foul number 42.
Tomorrow night on ESPNU, we will be in Bridgeport for that matchup, 7 o'clock.
Number 22, Jeff Jones, shooting.
Third personal you see on Darius Conley with 14:41 remaining in regulation as Jones goes to the foul line. And we've talked about it a little bit. It maybe is premature to fully talk about Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year, but to me, Coach of the Year is very interesting right now, where you've got Steve Masiello's done a terrific job with Manhattan. But now Mitch Bonaguro certainly has to be in the discussion with that undermanned Siena team and knocking off each of the top teams in the league so far this season, including the stunner the other night against Iona.
Well, they've been one of the big surprises. Those 2 teams in particular, the 2 biggest surprises in the MAC.
And that's not to take away what Tim Cluse or Jimmy Patsos has done. But typically the Coach of the Year, at least for consideration, goes to a coach of a team that seems to overproduce going into the year. You know, when you were lower in the preseason conference rankings and you go on to a better year. Jones with a chance for 3.
Well, sloppy play at both ends for St. Peter's. Good defense to challenge the athleticism of Miles, the guard, to go up and meet Connolly, the big guy, right at the rim. Nice block shot. They got things going out in transition.
And so now Yvonne Raymond, who has played well off the bench for St. Peter's, has 3 personals. Jones finishes off the 3-point play, and the lead has quickly ballooned to 21. French ridden out of bounds. Jones called for the foul.
And the problem for St. Peter's, Doug, is they're just not built to be able to score the ball enough to come back from 21 down, and that's why they've got to, you know, figure out ways to keep the lead manageable and not allow games to get away from them. They've allowed it to get away. They had the stretch at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, and now they've got themselves into a deep hole.
And another missed layup by Chris Prescott.
Yeah, he and Levin Fulton just cannot find it.
Jansen gets the long rebound. Nice look inside. Stewart blocked by Connolly. Raymond has his pocket pick. Ball comes back to Raymond, and it's picked again. And another takeaway.
Well, that's a pretty finish to an absolutely ugly exchange both ways. The ball bouncing around as if it had oil on it. Nobody could get a handle on it.
Ryder picked St. Peter's 3 straight times on the same possession. And then finally Thompson styling it.
Yes.
With the hand behind the head.
That's the way I used to go.
Yeah. Little Deion Sanders there, you know, when Deion would have a breakaway. Certainly worthy of our Pepsi Max Slam of the game.
You could see in the timeout his teammates getting on him, showing that little pose.
When you've got yourself a 21, now 23-point lead, I guess it's all right. As long as you make it.
Yep, yeah, you can't miss it now. Well, one of the things, Tommy Dempsey said, hey, look, our season's right here, right now. We got to have ourselves a good homestand. We got to get ourselves feeling good about themselves. And they've done that. You talked about it right from the start in the open about how important it was getting back in this building. Had the blowout win here at home against Canisius. They're playing well. They've got themselves a 23-point lead here now tonight. And then they've got Siena coming in here to the building. So when you look at their record, forget the overall record because they're non-conference. They just got themselves in a funk early on and just never got themselves out of it. But at 4-5 in the conference, if you hang on here, you go to 5-5. And with that, all those home games, as we said, 6 of the last 9 MAC games here in this building, because of their offensive firepower, you can see them being a team that's going to be dangerous coming down the stretch.
And they'll finish out the regular year with their final 3 conference games here in this building against upper echelon teams, Iona, Loyola, Fairfield. So Tommy Dempsey's club will have it all laid out for them if they can keep themselves just above the break-even mark between now and then. Good ball movement to get the reverse layup by Raymond, who's having a nice game. Double figures now for the junior out of Columbia High School in New Jersey.
And what's funny for Rider, despite all their struggles, you know, they were picked preseason to finish in 4th. Right now in the league standings, they're tied for 5th. So if they can get something going, who knows if they end up finishing right where everybody expected them to be.
Yep, just a circuitous route to get there. As mentioned, they lost 10 of 11 to begin the year, but the non-conference part of the year, like you say, just forget about it. Try and get yourself ready to go once you reach Springfield, Mass for the MAC championships.
And Tommy Dempsey had an interesting point. He said, this group's so confident. He said, at times I'm not sure why we're so confident with that. But he said, this group, especially some of the, he says, you know, we're so confident we really believe that we can go to Springfield and make noise. He said, you know, sometimes you're just trying to, you know, say it and hope that somebody believes it. That's not the case with this group. They've got supreme confidence.
And this has been a program ever since joining the MAC that has been a contender virtually every year under Don Harnum and now under Tommy Dempsey. They made it to the semifinal round last year, won well over 20 games, and this core was a big part of that. You know, we talked about the 2 seniors that they lost off of last year's club. There's Don Harnum. Now the athletics director, who turned the basketball program over a few years back to his former assistant. But certainly in the last 15 years since joining the MAC, this has been one of the better programs, and I can understand why a player like Novar Gadsden would expect, wait, why not? Why not us when we get to the tournament?
In the game for the Bronx, number 31, Brandon Penn, replacing number 23, Novar Gadsden.
Gadsden's had a good game, following up what was a terrific game on Sunday when he went for 22 points and 8 rebounds in the breather of a victory over Canisius. Tommy Dempsey said before the game that that was exactly the type of game that this team needed. Trying to rebuild that confidence heading towards February and March.
3-second violation. Possession to the Bronx.
Stewart turns it over. And so St. Peter's will have the basketball when we come back. Rider has opened up a 57-38 lead, looking to even their record in conference play with a win here tonight.
It's the playoffs. We haven't served a single calorie all season, and we're not serving one now. If you can't handle it, go sell foam fingers in the parking lot. How many calories are you carrying? 0! How much Pepsi taste? A lot! Now get out there and make me proud.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
You can't predict the future, but with the right education, you can be prepared. When you evolve as a person, develop mind, body, and spirit, adopt new perspectives, and adapt to your surroundings, strong truths will follow. truths that will guide you for the rest of your life. Loyola University, Maryland. Strong truths, well lived.
When every moment matters and a hand reaches out. When someone gives blood and a life is saved. That moment when heartbreak turns to hope. You're there through the American Red Cross. Every day, the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies. And your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.
Back here in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, Tommy Dempsey's Rider Broncs with a 57-38 lead. And reinforcements on the way. We talked about the Philly pipeline. We're not that far from the city of brotherly love. And here comes yet another transferring in from St. John's.
Yeah, Nordine Lindsay out of Overbrook High School in Philadelphia. And get off to a decent start of what was his sophomore season, his first year at St. John's, but then decided that he wanted to transfer. And when he decided he was going to transfer, as you see his numbers, averaged nearly 12 points per game for the Red Storm and rebounding and assists. When it looked like he was going to transfer, everybody thought he was going to Arkansas, and that's the type of player that Nordine Lindsay is. He's a guy that attacks the rim and can really make things happen. He's going to have an immediate impact here for the Rider Broncs.
And we've talked over the years about players like Lindsay who transfer from a Power 6 conference to the MAC, and you've got a mixed bag of results. In this game, we've been watching Jeff Jones, who was an accomplished player in the ACC for the Virginia Cavaliers, playing just 1 year. And what are your thoughts about why some guys do better than others? Is it between the ears coming in here? Here goes Jones to the bucket.
Well, sometimes it is, because guys think that they're just going to show up and they're going to be able to dominate at the level. And for guys as well, sometimes it's a fit. For Jeff Jones coming in for just one season, it's really difficult. You see what key addition transferring in from Virginia. This season, he's played decent. He's averaged nearly 13 points per game. Maybe not quite to the level that some people expected from him. But it is funny how some guys are able to step in and are able to make an immediate impact, and other guys have struggled at times.
Now, he came in with the reputation of being a good scorer in the ACC. You see his numbers tonight. And so much so with that reputation that he was preseason third-team All-MAC before ever playing a game in the MAC. And I don't have a problem with that.
No.
I think that's just fine, especially for somebody, it's not going to be somebody coming out of high school, but for somebody who has already established himself somewhere else at the college level, I've got no problem with that. Now, Harrison Barnes being named first-team All-American a couple of years ago before he got onto the North Carolina campus. I'm not so sure about that.
And not only, do you question it from whether or not he's going to be able to live up to those expectations, but it was no fair for Harrison Barnes. Put too much pressure on him. So in the start of his freshman year, all anybody wanted to talk about is what's wrong with Harrison Barnes.
Right.
Instead of talking about all the things that he was able to do, and look how he finished up his freshman year. A big impact on a team that had a terrific run.
North Carolina playing NC State tonight. And Harrison Barnes has certainly evolved into an All-American player. And I had North Carolina down in Puerto Rico last year at the start of his freshman season when he was the new hot commodity in college basketball, and he looked nothing like an All-American there. But, like you say, he had all of those expectations put upon him through no fault of his own.
And by the end of the season,
looked great.
Yeah, and I think part of the thing that happened is those expectations were out the window by then.
And then with the NBA lockout, he comes back for his sophomore year and has a chance to win a national championship this year with the Tar Heels. And he's just one of a number of guys who likely stayed around for an extra year because of the lockout. We get a chance to see him at the college level. Burke gets the bounce. 2-point shot for number 22. Daniel Stewart. Follow dunk by Miles.
How about the athleticism of Anthony Miles? He's got great size for a guard at 6'5", able to go up and flush it down.
Up above the rim, Daniel Stewart. Penn wide open. Down and out.
Yep, and that one he had plenty of time to tee it up.
Prescott trying to regather after initially pulling it back. Jones working on Burke. The help side defender Conley with a block shot.
In the game for the Bronx, number 25, Junior Fortunat, replacing number 13,
Stewart out. Fortunat back in. Fortunat had an impact in that first half as Rider was establishing itself.
Yeah, he gives them a post presence. You know, his size and strength. You see right here, able to clear space, and then he's a guy that's not going to step out onto the perimeter. He's going to try to get everything done at point blank at the front of the rim.
And even though he is a native of Quebec, he is also from that Philadelphia pipeline. From Philly to Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Here he played at Roman Catholic High School.
Roman Catholic, along with Newman Goretti, one of the traditional powers in the Philadelphia Catholic League.
Although the man with the basketball is, well, he's from the Philly area, from a Catholic program that's going away.
Yeah, Monsignor Bonner, where he was the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Philadelphia Catholic League. But Monsignor Bonner going the way of a lot of the Catholic schools in the Northeast. We see consolidation throughout our cities up and down the East Coast corridor. New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York City, and some storied high school programs.
Blaise French tried to dunk it but could not. Ball knocked away from behind by French.
Official timeout.
Timeout on the floor with 7:48 remaining. 63-42. It's all Rider.
Our contestants at this basket tonight are in power. Time will be kept at the table. Ready, set, go. 30 seconds. Make as many free throws as you can. 20 seconds remaining. 20 seconds remaining. Three over here. 5 over here.
The Pepsi Max National Mac Game of the Week is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Blue Rock Energy. Blue Rock Energy saves you money on electricity and natural gas. Blue Rock Energy, putting people in power. The American Red Cross, encouraging you to do something that means something. Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAC. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. See how much you could save when you visit geico.com. Doug Sherman, Rod Kennedy, back with you at the Bronx Zoo, the home of the Rider Bronx. And it has been all Rider, particularly here in the second half, on top by 21. 3 players for Rider have reached double figures so far, 11 for Gadsden, 11 for Jones, and 10 for Anthony Miles. And you talked about what? Mucking it up, gunking it up. St. Peter certainly has done that, and then some at the offensive end.
And early on, it was mucking it up at the pace that they needed it. And so, remember, we got to the second media timeout. I think there were 2 of 15, or first or second media, 2 of 15 from the floor, but they were still in the ball game. Now here in the second half, too many quick shots, way too many three-point shot attempts. They're 3 of 17 from beyond the three-point line. Just because the other team plays zone doesn't mean you have to throw up 3 after 3. And because of that, they've never really been able to get it to the pace that they've needed.
Well, Conley picked up 2 quick fouls in the ball game and spent the better part of that first half on the bench, and you take him out, and who else are you going to throw it to on the low post?
And that's one of their problems. I'll tell you what, if Ryder was able to catch fire from deep this game, I mean, this really could be, not that it's not ugly right now, but I mean, Ryder's 3 of 15 from beyond the three-point line. So if they made a couple of threes, this one could be well out of hand. Brandon Penn goes for 2 of 13 from the field, and yet you're still winning comfortably by 21. And that says something about the depth of the Ryder Broncs.
And that's something they did not have at the start of the year. I mean, only 8 scholarship players to begin the season, but then Fortunato got his eligibility. Players got healthy, and now you're looking at a Ryder team at the right time of the year that has better depth and perhaps is heading in the right direction.
And clearly, I think, a better feeling about where they are right now, too. And that is so important, that confidence, because there was a part of the season early on where they didn't have that confidence, and that was so uncharacteristic of the Ryder Broncs in recent years.
St. Peter's foul number 42, Darius Conley. That's his 4th personal.
4th foul on Darius Conley. And the 7th
number 15, Eddie Mitchell.
Against St. Peter's. So Eddie Mitchell is at the free throw line. Make sure to follow the latest MAC happenings on the MAC Twitter page at twitter.com/MACsports. You're a big Twitter guy, right?
Yeah, a decent amount here and there. Usually during games I am, but I don't have my iPad going with the Twitter here today. Usually at media timeouts, throwing a few out there. But
how many tweets on an average day for you?
No, I'm not one of those guys that gets too carried away.
Not a high volume tweeter?
No. It's kind of during games and when I'm out at stuff. Not one of those guys that needs to let you know about every single thing that's going on.
Fulton back into the game, still unable to find the range. Seems like he's had 4 or 5 shots just like that. Not bad shots, just coming up. That's Eddie Mitchell, 67-43.
And go ahead and take a bow. Why not? That's what Mitchell does. He's not an outside shooter, not going to stretch the defense, but he is terrific at getting himself into the lane and putting pressure on the defense at the rim.
Now, Mitchell's only 6 feet, but as you saw, could easily get above the rim. They've got other guards like Thompson and Miles, who we've seen, a little taller, a little longer, can get above the rim. The MAC Outdoor Track and Field Championships head to Rider University from May 5th through the 6th. Purchase tickets today on mac.ticketleap.com.
Here's Mitchell turning the corner, and you know what happens sometimes if you're St. Peter's. St. Peter's are a terrific defensive team. Early in this half, go ahead, take a bow. If you're going to get dressed up like that, you got to figure, all right, I should be able to get myself on TV today.
And he's clearly not worthy.
No, but he is anonymous, so, you know, I mean, that's one of the things. But St. Peter's, when you get down by 24, it's hard to keep that defensive intensity. That time as Eddie Mitchell turned the corner, there was absolutely no weak side help. Remember in the first half, weak side help, rotation coming over, taking charges, little energy. Well, if you can't score the basketball, it's hard to keep that defensive intensity.
Tucker misses. Gadsden the rebound. Yeah, there were consecutive charges drawn in what would have been a 3rd one if not for a reach-in foul call. Jones continues to produce off the Rider bench. Here comes Gadsden.
Well, and right now, the Rider Broncs are getting out and galloping, everything going right. Much like they did the last time out when they were able to handle Canisius easily here at home, and they ended up winning 89-65, all on their way to back-to-back games that make everybody feel good about themselves.
Jones was open. Stewart missed him when he should have gotten in the ball, but able to get the bucket regardless.
And Jones has let the game come to him. Good sign. As we said, didn't play against Canisius. He was suspended. But now here coming tonight, he's found himself 10 shots, but he hasn't forced any. And instead sharing the basketball. That's what they need out of Jeff Jones.
He sets up Anthony Miles. The lead is 30. Tucker hits.
That's by number 24, Marquise Tucker.
And as we sit here in the Bronx Zoo, Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy, you know, our broadcast location here at midcourt, as we talked about, is right in the midst of the crowd. I mean, the walkway goes in front of us, and we've got fans literally inches behind us as Jones continues to stay hot. And so we can hear the conversation very clearly behind us. I'm guessing those of you watching at home can also pick up some words here and there, for better or for worse. But I just heard a couple of guys say it's turned into an NBA All-Star game, which is true.
It does look like that.
Quick shot at one end and a breakout. There we are.
Which
way are we looking? Over that way.
And usually, sometimes they've got fans seated right in this first row. They gave us a break today. They're not right on top of us.
And there were some young ladies who were there to start the year, and I think they said, well, we got this one well in hand. But it's one of the unique venues in college basketball, and there have been plans, and they are trying to get all the money in place to build a new facility. They would keep this one standing and incorporate it into being a practice facility and for the student body to better access. But for the meantime, they continue to spruce up and make improvements to this building.
And it's always been a tough place to play because it's so loud.
Yeah.
But this year hasn't been necessarily the Bronx Zoo as of old. Just 3 and 4 here in this building coming in today. A couple of heartbreaking overtime losses to both Penn and Princeton.
Well, you remember they had the 6 a.m. game back on November 15th here in this building against Drexel as part of ESPN's 24 hours of college basketball. They had a packed house at 6 a.m. That was a nice crowd, even though the game kind of got away from them and Drexel won by 18. But the student body here in particular and the folks here in Central Jersey will come out and fill this building if the team is good. The reaction is for the Rider walk-ons getting up off the bench. Whistle before the putback by Raymond. So the walk-ons are coming in because Rider has this one well in hand. 81-50, the Bronx over the Peacocks.
Welcome to the edge. The glory of the Division I MAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. Action guaranteed to have you on the edge of your seat.
All the way with the slam dunk.
The way to the NCAA, the MAC Championship. March 1st through the 5th at Mass Mutual Center. Grab your tickets at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logo shirts and hats for your company. Make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
That's the worst half of football I've ever seen. Are you telling me we can't do this?
I got this, Coach. You know, people said, Pepsi Max? You can't get maximum Pepsi taste with 0 calories.
Who said that?
But Pepsi Max didn't listen.
We just delivered it. So get out there and taste that sweet, zero-calorie victory!
The little guy's right.
Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Do you validate parking?
Well, one slam of the game wasn't enough, so let's give you multiples. A little style there for Thompson. That might be my favorite.
That's the most impressive. Although there's Eddie Mitchell turning the corner, so.
Those are some of the highlights from this ball game that has turned into a rout. 81-50, Rider with the comfortable lead. It was an 11-point Rider lead at halftime. And so now the walk-ons are in for the second straight game. Emerson Versus, a 6'5 freshman. And the other walk-on that has checked in, Kevin Noon from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And keep an eye on Kevin Noon. He likes to fire the threes. 0 for 5 so far this season. Raymond fouled, and then Endi Azuma is going to be called for a goaltend, I believe. Kevin Ferguson, the lead official, held his hand up, and indeed it is a chance for a three-point play. There's Kevin Noon out of West High School at Cherry Hill, 6'1", 190 senior. And for every college basketball team, it's fun to have as many breathers as you can, and this is one of the reasons why. A chance for the walk-ons to get in, hoist a shot or two.
Yep, Noon, the former team manager, who's now a walk-on here in his senior season.
Yvonne Raymond's had a terrific game coming off the St. Peter's bench. Hasn't gotten enough support from his teammates, though. Charles Oliver also in the game. He had a bucket before we went to break. Freshman from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Endi Azuma fouled
St. Peter's foul number 24, Marquise Tucker. That's his third personal, team's 8th of the half. To the line for the box, number 21, Dara Endi Azuma. Shooting! 2.
Counts 1. May not be pretty, but
effective. Put it on the glass.
He is now 3 of 7 on the year from the foul line.
That'll get a response from his teammates.
He shot a 17-footer from the foul line and got a point for it. Burke was fouled. Call goes against Oliver. Well, it's been good to see the most prominent recent Rider basketball product, Jason Thompson, into the Sacramento Kings starting lineup the last couple of weeks, and right from the start of the year, even coming off the bench, he has provided great energy. There's number 1, and he has really, in his contract year, stepped forth for a pretty poor team out there in Sacramento.
Yeah, and what he does is the same thing he did here. He gives them energy, he attacks the rim, and can do a little bit of everything. And you know, one of the things when they drafted him is they expected him to be able to expand his game out into the perimeter, but that's not what he is. He's still the energy guy, and for, you know, those bad teams in the NBA, sometimes it's really hard to manufacture energy. But Jason Thompson, a guy who brings it each night.
With a coaching change already, Paul Westphal fired a couple of weeks ago, and Keith Smart taking over. He has seen his minutes continue to go up, and he is certainly a point of pride for the folks here at Rider University, not only as a basketball player, but as his former coaches will tell you, Don Harnum and Tommy Dempsey. You hear this a lot, but it truly applies for Jason Thompson. He is a really good guy.
You know, when you look at what he meant to this program, you know, to have a lottery pick and then, you know, really reestablish Rider as one of the better teams in the MAC, and certainly as well as brother Ryan Thompson, who then picked it up where Jason left off. And as we said, they have had a number of brother duos, and they're going to have another one with the Stewart brothers, as Derek will join his older brother Danny next year, as Raymond fouled out. And as you said, a good effort by Raymond. And he brought that positive energy that they needed off the bench tonight.
You know, Tommy Dempsey every chance he gets when the Kings are on the East Coast, tries to make it to the game. He goes to Philly, goes to D.C., goes to New Jersey, and goes to New York. But he also said he's got plans with his son to make the trip up to Boston. Now, his son roots for the Celtics, so I don't know if you're going to wear a Kings jersey or a Celtics jersey when you go to Boston.
Well, I bet you he's rooting for Jason that day.
No question about that. Another foul will send Oliver to the foul line.
St. Peter's foul number 22, Chris Burke. That's his third personal team.
And the MAC, if you listen to certain pundits, may have itself another lottery pick in this year's NBA draft. Probably a long shot, but Scott Machado has some people thinking that he could sneak his way into the lottery. Certainly most folks think he will be drafted if everything continues on that same path between now and June.
Yeah, he's playing great basketball. And it's funny, Scott Machado, a guy who was heavily recruited out of high school, coming out of St. Benedict's, but didn't have all the high majors thinking about recruiting him. But his game has just continued to evolve, and his size and his ability to find guys on the open floor as good as anybody.
Yeah, his freshman and sophomore years under Kevin Willard, now the head coach at Seton Hall. He was a good MAC guard, He was one of the better MAC guards, but over the last 2 years under Tim Cluse, he has evolved into so much more and leading the nation in assists per game. .15 to shoot. We'll see if the walk-ons are going to get into the scoring column. Noon to the left hand, and his fellow walk-on cleans it up. Emerson Bursis with his second points of the season.
Yeah, scored in their last game against Canisius, and that's the way it's been. They've been able to empty the bench, up by 30 late.
1 minute remaining in the second half.
Noon from deep.
And not just the student section that gets it. Did you see his teammates? Well, they appreciate what he's been able to do for the program as a manager his first couple of years, and now in the scoring column, first points of his career.
Noon is off the schneid.
Yeah, you talked about it. 0 for 5 coming in, making 1 out of 6. And he won't remember those 5, but he'll remember that one.
That's his third personal team.
Will he remember and tell the grandkids that it was off the glass?
No. Nothing but net.
Marquise Tucker at the free throw line. There's the upcoming schedule for Rider. As mentioned, another home game coming up this weekend on Sunday against the Siena Saints. And then on the road in Baltimore next Friday night to take on Loyola, which has a share of first place. Now, Rob, we also should mention that with the Bracket Busters having the announcement coming up on Monday, Iona is all but a lock to get a TV spot. But will Loyola get one of those coveted home game television spots?
Well, they've got a chance, and certainly playing good basketball coming down the stretch for Jimmy Passos, and the fact that they've got themselves at 7-2 to start things off in the MAC certainly keeps them in play.
Now they've got the 11th highest RPI among the home teams, ahead of George Mason, ahead of VCU, so they certainly are in the mix. Shot clock violation gives the ball back to St. Peter's. But again, ESPN will announce the 13 television matchups for Bracket Busters on Monday. All Rider here tonight, 90-55 your final score.
And Tommy Dempsey's team again gets exactly what the doctor ordered. An easy win at home where they were able to come out and play well on the offensive end. And they did a good job defensively as well, Doug. One of the reasons why they're able to coast to this 35-point win.
Rider improves to 5-5 in the MAC, 8-14 overall. St. Peter's drops to 4-17 and 3-7 in league play. Good balance by Rider to come up with his victory.
Yeah, and certainly they didn't have the great shooting night from Brandon Penn that he's had as of late, but they've got enough depth and enough scoring firepower to be able to sustain a bad shooting night by one of their stars.
Our Pepsi Max player of the game, not one of the walk-ons who got in and scored, but it's Jeff Jones. And Jeff did a terrific job coming off the Rider bench as well. Known as a three-point specialist, but also able to put it on the deck. Very good shooter all around, and the former ACC performer with 19 points tonight. He's our Pepsi Max player of the game. As the crowd files out here at Alumni Gymnasium, we've sent Rob Kennedy out onto the floor. He will chat with the winning coach, Tommy Dempsey, and our Pepsi Max player of the game, Jeff Jones, in just a moment when they get themselves all set up. All right, let's send it over to Rob Kennedy.
With me, Tommy Dempsey. You know, coaches always complain about something that their team did. Is there anything that you complain about with that performance?
Well, we played well tonight. I think this was an important stretch. We came home off the long road trip. We have a 3-game homestand with Canisius, St. Peter's, and Siena. We knew this was a defining moment for us at home, and we played well against Canisius, well again tonight. Last leg of the trip on Sunday, we need a win.
And Brandon Penn didn't play as well as he has. How important is it that you can sustain now a bad shooting night by a guy like Brandon Penn and get other contributions?
I think the reason we're dangerous is because we have a lot of guys that can fill it up. And when we play with energy and we play defense and rebound like we have the last 2 games, I know we were plus 25 on the glass Sunday and about plus 20 again tonight. Those were areas early in the year where we just, defending and rebounding were such issues for us. If we do those 2 things, we'll find ways to score points.
All right, Coach, and one of those guys that scored points for you, especially late, Jeff Jones. Jeff, you didn't play in the last game against Canisius. Sitting on the bench last game, what did that do for you coming into tonight's game?
I just want to motivate my teammates, whether it's in practice or in a game. I just want to be there cheering, be the loudest one out there, be the team leader out there that I know I can be. So just go out there, play hard, and be a team leader.
And we've talked about it a couple of times, obviously transferring in from Virginia in your 1 year here at Rider. How difficult a transition has it been for you to try and get yourself into the flow in just 1 year?
I mean, I just try to take the experience I had there and then bring it here. Either it's talking to guys coming in late to practice, get some shots up, or just give energy that the team needs. So I just take the experience I have there and bring it to the team.
All right, congratulations. Good bounce back. Our Pepsi player of the game, Doug.
Thank you, Rob. And again, congratulations to Jeff Jones and the Rider Broncs. Winners tonight, 90-55. Join us tomorrow, January 27th, for our doubleheader on ESPN3 and ESPNU. Coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern with the Manhattan women's team taking on Fairfield on ESPN3. Then at 7 Eastern, the Iona Gales take on the Fairfield Stags on ESPNU. For Rob Kennedy and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Lawrenceville, New Jersey. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.